disappointing privilege of seeing my own face right now.
Go Nancy girl.
No Nancy girl. Okay. Minutes of the December 13th, 2016 meeting. Are there any comments, corrections, additions? Hearing none. A motion to accept those minutes would be in order.
So moved.
And a second. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, thank you. Those are accepted. Treasurer Finance Committee report. Marty tells me there's about enough news to justify standing up and sitting down again.
Do I have to stand up?
No, you don't. Go ahead, Marty.
Well, we are in a situation where the fourth quarter of 2016 has been closed, and we're working on third quarter numbers we are the annual financial statements for 2016. And what I have reported to you previously, the auditors for 2016 have already started to do some of their work, and keep in mind that what our goal is to get a report out, by March 15th, essentially.
Or even sooner if possible.
Yeah, and then this year, admittedly, it was partly scheduling, but this year the report got out to the public October 31.
Well, until now, we have taken the lower price option from our external auditors, which is if they don't try to do it before April 15th. But this year, we're going to pay a little more and get an audit done as quickly as possible, late February, early March.
Yes.
Right. That's it, right?
That's it.
Okay. And they've already started. They've started work, even before the final numbers. They're contacting people whose notes were bought out, were refinanced last year, to verify are you an investor, and did you indeed get bought out? Did you get the money you were supposed to get? Things like that. They had that process going on already. Okay. Now, updates. Before Carol steps up to give you updates on construction and operations, I would like to comment on some discussion that occurred on the governing board list yesterday and last night. It's very frustrating when things aren't built as soon as we expected. It is especially frustrating when the things that aren't built aren't being built within our control. And I think it's very important to understand clearly the difference between our connection to Western Bethel, Stockbridge, Rochester, Pittsfield, and Hancock, and Granville. That connection is dependent on miles being built by the state of Vermont. There have been more delays than what was that old expression? Than Carter has little liver pills. Yeah. And
that was a while ago.
That's a while ago. I said an old expression, didn't I?
You did.
I did. But it's important to distinguish between what we build and what the state is building. And the state isn't going to build anything more. What we're building now is in our hands. And when people say, well, gee, we borrowed that money last year and we haven't got any progress yet. Actually, we've got a great deal of progress, as Carol will tell you, in preparing and doing all of the engineering and the pole preparation, the pole make-ready applications, and beginning to pay for make-ready, so that in this current year, we can build those 250 new miles. But we did not borrow the money last year to build the 250 miles. We borrowed the money to pay off a lot of our short-term debt and to prepare for this year's build. So this year's build is not behind schedule. The state is behind schedule on, Carol will tell you how many miles that are imminent, that have been imminently about to be handed over to us for the past 4 months. But, and I think, did we mention what December we've been thinking about Zeno's paradox? Everybody remember Zeno's paradox? You know, you get halfway there and you've got to go half the rest of the way and then half of what's left and you have to get there. And that's what the state's been doing. But we are not behind on using the money we borrowed last year. All right. I will hand this podium over to Carol.
So the good news is, we sent out a report at the end of December and it said we had 1586. And so I get to correct that to be 1589 customers at the end of the year, which is only 3 short of what our projection was for our bonds, which is pretty accurate. And the wonderful thing about that is we achieved that number of customers on our existing route. And because we still have 37.6 miles to Light in Pittsfield, Bethel, Stockbridge, Hancock, and Rochester when they turn over Central Green. And then another 34.8 miles of these smaller projects that are spread throughout their connectivity grant projects in Royalton, in Stratford, it's Kendall, Jordan, Rose, and Stratford. So these are small projects that have been paid for by investors. And all of those are also coming to life. And so if all the gods are with us, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but the Force is with us. Hopefully by the end of the first quarter, all of those miles will be lit, and they're all in process. All, we have the fiber for all of them, and I can give you an update on a few of them. So Kendall, Jordan Road, and Stratford, that project, Old City Falls, and the Jordan Road, that construction of the fiber on the poles is complete. We are scheduling the DSPs and the FAPs to be spliced in, tested after that, and then be able to light up customers on those roads. Gifford Clay, the strand is up on the poles, and the fiber will follow very close to the complete South Woodstock. The fiber is supposed to be up, I haven't gone down and checked, but you could check while you're down there. The fiber is supposed to be up on the poles, and that will be another area in which the DSPs and FAPs will be next. And we have an underground route on Rush Meadow in West Windsor that's been, we have the easements for, and so we're just waiting for a little bit of a thaw. We do get those in the winter, so we're all primed and ready to go with that underground as soon as we get that winter thaw in the middle of the winter, usually in January, but we'll see. But that's all set to go as well. The designs for the 4 or 5 projects that we had pulled back from Matrix, we've seen the first drafts of those designs. We've gone back for corrections. We expect to see those maps on Friday, and we can send out the POs for those as well to get those built. And so Eustis has so many projects, these many projects on their plate that we meet with them every Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. And they have a spreadsheet, we have a spreadsheet, and we're checking live. And as a result, I think we've gotten more built in the last 3 weeks than we had before, because they know they have to make sure they understand where we are. So that's working fine. So those are all coming to pass. So we came very close to meeting our goal. Believe me, when he said your report said 1586, that's my first cut at it too, and I was like, 86? Come on, 5. We just needed 5 more customers to meet that goal. That didn't happen. Too many holidays, I think. But we are very, very close to that, and that's about the 72 miles. So I think that's really good.
Estimate of customers on that 72 miles?
To start with, we always estimate low, and know, our net result is 4 to 5, customers to get our 35% take rate. So even if we got 2 customers on such a job, in terms of the 2017, I should update you on the BPA, right? You want to know about Central Greens. And if I could get out there and do the splicing myself, I would have by now. But our piece is done. We're waiting on Velco. We spliced in ours. We leave a tail, they call it, section fiber, and Velco has to splice that into their splicing. And that's where we are, and that's in the works. So there are 3 locations, one in Bethel, in Rochester, and one in Stockbridge, but that has to occur. And I've been assured that that is not going to take forever. I've been assured it would be done by next week, but I hesitate telling you that. I can tell you it's not going to take forever. And then we have to test it, and that will light Bethel and Lilysville and the Pittsfield field, but the Paul built the 4 miles of Pittsfield, Tweed River, 101 and Tweed River, both in Pittsfield and Stockbridge. The paths are in the DSPs are just a matter of customers, light that right up.
Should we give the cell phone number to whoever's responsible?
I must
to all the customers that are on that route?
I must confess, I did get an email last week, the end of the week before, from a customer on Lilysville who calls us regularly. And so he emailed, and I responded to him, and I copied the Clay Purvis at the stage. And Clay responded to him as well, because at this point he's saying, I don't believe you anymore. So I sent it to Clay, and Clay responded and told him the same story. So they do get messages up there on a regular basis from constituents, and I know that he wants it off his plate as well. So he's trying to get that project completed as soon as we can do it. And did I say April 30th was the dead date at the state? Now, whatever. 8 months. So I'm confident it's moving forward. I'm confident we've got and we keep following them very closely. So that's Berry Hill, South Royalton, right in that area we were just in. We're waiting on a railroad crossing permit. So everything is built in South Royalton with the exception of the area that gets us that sort of connects the network. So it requires the railroad crossing. Railroad crossing permits, by the way, are the worst, longest delays. I think they're longer than toll make ready. So we have to be very cautious of that when we build around the next railroad. And in Royalton, we're continually going over. You know when you drive, right? Over, under the railroad. That's the same thing. The fiber capacity goes the same way. So we want to get those on target sooner than later. And fail engineering, our engineers with Thetford, with almost as many railroad crossings in Thetford, working on that now for the bill that will occur in spring and summer. So that's occurring. I submitted our response to the RFP for the 2016 Part B with the second round of grants. We put in for $1.6 million. So hopefully we'll get another $156 or $2,000 to build some of those areas. They're still very similar to the areas that we had before. There were a couple of exceptions because we had some, and we talked about this before, we have some businesses who are willing to contribute to that bottom line, so some of the projects not reach to the top. But we'll wait and see what they come up with. The ones for the highway and railroad crossings tend to be more expensive. Now they're not more expensive. They're not just more expensive for us, they're more expensive for contractors, more expensive for appointments, so we'll see where that comes. I'm told by the end of January. Keep looking at the web. I see a meeting date that EPA board meeting, not EPA, but the board meeting date. But that's when we will decide which division. certified, the maintenance with Calyx twice in time. So, he's really gung-ho about it himself, and he's on top of it. So that's also good. Yep. Yeah, Calyx is our OLT, so the equipment in the closet, in the hub, as well as the OLT equipment in the zone. I think their strategy is good. It says the better trained our individual is, the less calls they'll get on support. That works for them and it works for us. You'll notice on your project sheet I've removed some of the older completed projects. Left with the outstanding projects and those that are recently completed. And that will continue to be the case as we move into this new year. And I think that's a summary of sort of where we are right now. Do you have any questions?
So I see our susceptibility for so are you doing everything for
No. With, the projects on
How
your
many people
project
need that
sheet-
kind of fund?
The projects on your project sheet, generally speaking, will be built with 48-strand ADSS or self-supporting fiber. We add strand for the distances between poles with two extremes of that, or over a ravine, or over a river, those types of criteria. When we build the 250 miles, we'll be building all on strand, and we won't build it with ADSS fiber, we'll build it with regular. And so that's the plan for that one. But we have the 48-strand fiber in place for all of the projects.
one other question? So once you deliver the PO and the finish the schedule,
Does, as I have now assigned us 3 crews to work on the project.
are we getting the same price?
You know, when you see them, you can take a picture and send it to me.
We'll all know.
And I will let you know on a Thursday morning when I hear that they've assigned a crew to Concord, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We're still waiting on, it's not just that, there's a full application on Rush Meadow that's not complete yet by Fairpoint, so we still have some poles to license along Rush Meadow. But, once that's done, then we will build that section from Shadowfield, thank you very much, all the way up through to the stop at the intersection where the fire is. And we will. Well, it is separate. Those poles were submitted well in advance of that. They're very close to being licensed now. So it's separate in that way. But the design for that is, they're designing that within their 2017 design. And we've seen a first draft of that already. Yes, it's different than the construction plan. But we'll work off a design that, Dale has here. Other questions? Good. Thank you. It's really, it's a few things, but one of them is their contract with the state. So remember, the state is going to agreement with Belco, that creates a complete fiber elsewhere, for these Belco fiber we're looking at that to be building some more redundancy in that way, but that's not. Well, in the first place, initially, if you remember, if you go back and look at my report, the state was looking for, in order to build on the transmission line, you have to have a special engineering firm do the design. And they had a contract with a special engineering firm that hasn't done that yet. No matter how long this project has been outstanding, and everything they were looking at the transmission line, they didn't understand they needed an engineer's design and a special contract. So they started down that path at a sort of cost level, and discovered that to build on the transmission line isn't the same as building on a regular pole. The pole make-ready work is considerably more expensive, and the annual license is fivefold, throughout the time, incredibly more expensive than building on a regular pole. I think that's when they discovered that. They realized that this makes a lot of sense. At the same time, Velco was trying, with numerous groups around the state, to monetize their network. And they had all this fiber on the pole, and they were trying to decide how they could use it. In some ways, these two things can come together at that point. So when we say we're on this pole for the use of Velco fiber, it's not from Sand Hill to Williamsville. That's kind of a section of that pole. It's not just that section, because they have no real place to meet us over there. So from the Bethel substation, on the road substation, to Boston. And so basically we take the highway, to Bethel, Stockbridge Hub, and we see all of that Louisville, that section of Bethel, and Stockbridge Hub. On our own Bethel, Stockbridge. So that's why we came to talk to design this thought process, and we weren't involved in making that decision, because had we been involved, we would have gone down to designing River Road, and we could have heard questions. We can't heard them. That wasn't the decision that we took. Anything else? Well,
Thank you, Cal. Executive committee, we didn't meet last week because of a storm. We did meet today, and at length with the gentleman from MCM, and some of the results of that discussion will be evident tonight. Government relations, I just want to comment that, of course, we have a member of this governing board and the executive committee, Jim Maslin, who is a member of the House. And that's why he's not here tonight, because the legislature is now in session from Tuesday through Friday of every week until sometime in late April, early May. But I had a conversation with Jim Sunday night, checking in on changes at the State House. And he agrees with me. We are cautiously hopeful about a change that was made in the House of Representatives. The new Speaker of the House decided to create a new House committee. Previously, telecom matters have been part of the work of the House Commerce and Economic Development Committee. And I think a strong case can be made that one of the most important aspects of what we are doing here is economic development. But Commerce and Economic Development has a lot of work to do. Energy issues have previously been part of the House Energy and Natural Resources Committee. The new Speaker decided to take those two topics away from those two committees and create a new committee called Energy and Technology. And the members of the Energy and Technology Committee have been drawn about half and half from those two prior committees, with some other additions from other places, I guess. But I think we can hope for a sharper focus. And I think it's also probably more efficient for the committee process, because this new committee lines up more exactly with the charge of the administrative department called the Department of Public Service. They are responsible for electric issues and telecom issues. And that matches up, this committee matches up to that better than the old committee structure did. So we're cautiously hopeful. And I'm cautiously hopeful that the person who became chair, who is it going to be, energy or technology, that's the chair of this combined committee? Well, it's a technology person. Steve Carr from Brandon, I think, is the chair of the new committee. He was the person on House Commerce who had been taking the lead for the past 2 years on telecom issues. And so we've got a friend at the top of that committee. Yes.
So now when forward things this afternoon, he received that there's an executive order from the government.
Okay.
Forming a group called the Governor's Government Modernization.
Uh-huh.
With the acronym is GMAT. And it's a little bit hard to tell what the root kind of a thing, but the goal seems to be like sort of generally in line with.
Well, I left out the third charge of the new committee, and that is the state government's own IT operation.
Right, and this is sort of
Yes.
that plus
Right.
the state.
And Sam Young from Glover, who is a web developer and was on House Commerce until 2 years ago. When he was on House Commerce, he was also the House appointee to the Vermont Telecom Authority. Well, that went away, as you know. And 2 years ago, Sam moved to House Ways and Means Committee. He is now vice chair of House Ways and Means Committee. And that can't, I don't know how much the taxation committee is going to have to do with telecom, but it can't hurt us to have somebody with that background in that position. So there's tonight's reading of the tea leaves.
Herb,
Yes.
have you have any sense of whether our new governor, which is wanting to enhance education, how much of that is thinking about technology?
Candidly, I'm not holding my breath. I listened to his entire inaugural address and did not hear broadband mentioned. I checked in with Jim Maslin, and that was his impression as well. Right. And I also heard a tape snippet today on WVPR where somebody asked Governor Scott about his ideas about revamping public education, and he said, well, that's a concept thing. He might not even have any legislative ideas at all this year in that. It was a 20-year effort, not a 2-year or 1-year effort. So we are probably going to have to work hard to educate the governor.
That's what I was wondering.
I don't know how we'll go about it, but that's going to be something we'll have to do. The new public service, the new commissioner of public service, by the way, June Tierney, was until last week the counsel to the Public Service Board. So I don't know how to read that yet either. But there you have it. Yes, Jerry.
I'm wondering if you're also interested in
June Tierney? I don't know where she lives. Yeah, somebody could Google her. I know that the outgoing Commissioner of Public Service, Chris Recchia, told me informally in December, he sells lamb at the Norwich Farmers Market, so we've become friends in a completely unofficial side channel way. And I said, would you like to continue in this job? He said, I might want to continue in state government, but not in this job. It's a miserable job. No matter what you do, you're going to make some people very unhappy.
Green Theory,
In Randolph. Interesting. All right. Okay. So, the principal events, would you like to take up before or after the MCM gentleman the question of when we meet in February? It's probably a quickie. How many people, if we change the February meeting date to the third Tuesday, February 21, instead of the second, February 14th, how many people would not be able to come on the 21st? How many people will be unable to come if we meet on the 14th? Would anyone like to introduce a motion to change the February meeting to the 21st? Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Well, that was easy. Thank you. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. What? Yeah, bring your leftover chocolate. Right. Okay. So, already introduced them. I'll introduce them again. Come on down front. These are the gentlemen who sold our 9 million bonds last spring. Their company was the sole respondent to our RFP this summer, early fall, for bonding services for the next tranche. And they're here to tell you about what they do, how they do it, and what the approximate schedule would be. Jim Anderson and Chris Perlitz, both from the Denver office. Thank you.
It's our firm, Municipal Capital Markets, is a brokerage firm that specializes in municipal bonds. And we underwrite bonds issued by varying municipalities, including your district. As you all know, last year the district became the district on January 1st and issued bonds as a political subdivision as opposed to the old LLC. Those bonds, as you may recall, were used to refinance a portion of the outstanding notes and to provide money for reconstruction. And our firm has sold those bonds to institutional investors. If you're interested in knowing more about the bonds themselves, I refer you to our website, MSRB, which stands for Municipal Securities Rulemaking.gov. And then go to the EMMA site, and then in that EMMA site you can pick up any bonds in an East Central Vermont communication district. And it will tell you bonds that have recently traded. It will show you a copy of the financial statement as well as the last official statement. And for the 2017 bonds, those will also be recorded who sold on this site. So just so you all have place to go. Most of you have your laptops here, so you're set to go. It's a good reference. Big card? Yes, you're right. Got I'm sorry. It is part of the SEC, but they don't use and our firm sold the bonds generally to institutional investors, some accredited individual investors. Most of them, however, were institutional investors. And the bond sale, again, to remind you, the average interest rate was 5.15%. We would anticipate that interest rates have gone up, as you know, since over the last 60 days. For example, the 10-year Treasury went from a yield of 1.75% to 2.45% from that time. During that period, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates by a quarter and have indicated they'll do it 2 more times during 2022. Our schedule would be for these bonds to issue once the audited financial statements are available, so approximately March 15th or so, when the financial statements are available, the bonds would be offered, then they're closing sometime end of March or and turnaround of the audit that quickly is pretty good response, so hopefully the auditors will be able to follow through with that. I think it's important that audit be included in the operating statement because 2016 was a key year for the district. We increased the number of services by 33%. We had a substantial budget, and that's one of the things we've done during that period, as Carol discussed earlier. So it's important to show that in an audited format. So that's going to be a key ingredient to selling the bonds for 2016. The amount of bonds that we have discussed today could vary, but right now we're looking at approximately $14 million worth of bonds. About $4.8 million of that would be to refinance all of the rest of the existing notes, Series C notes, and zero coupon notes that were issued prior to 2016. So that would clean up the entire old notes. All of those notes are outstanding at a rate substantially higher than where the current rates are. Some of the C notes are outstanding at 11%. Some of the zero coupon notes are outstanding at close to 7.65, and the 2015 notes are outstanding, I believe, at 6 and So we would look at the 2017 bonds would be approximately 5.5 to 5.6%. Our anticipation would be to come back to this board on the meeting of March 14th, the second Tuesday of March, with an offer to buy the bonds at a maximum interest rate. And then the interest rate, the actual interest rate would be set after that. And hopefully it would be, as we did last year, but it would hopefully be below the maximum interest rate that was set by this board. If we're not, we'll come back to the board for another round of that. But we anticipate that you'll have all of the terms and conditions like the March 14th meeting. We also would be hopefully able to give you an update on your February 21st meeting. Keep you updated at that time. The good news about the issue for 2017 is the basic document was drafted by your counsel, Paul Giuliani, last year, and each subsequent sale of bonds is done by a supplement. So everything, the terms of the transaction stay basically the same as was originally drafted last year, and you could add a supplement. So that helps keep down legal costs, but also lets you know that the terms of the new transaction will be the same, and those terms are a lien on your revenues with a requirement that you maintain rates and charges that would be sufficient to cover debt service by 1.25%. And I believe that ValleyNet has provided you with some numbers the last quarter that kind of gave you an idea of what was the minimum number of customers you need to meet that coverage rate. And we're well within that in the system. So it's very favorable to be able to issue up to 14 million or possibly slightly more bonds, depending on what the final use of proceeds will be. That's a pretty quick explanation of the question. Yes. So setting rates is obviously the board's prerogative, but the rates need to be sufficient to produce net revenue sufficient to pay.
standard covenant that's put into revenue bonds. The reason why we have some stabilization. The covenants in the 16 bonds that were issued. So in the future, we can attempt to the rating to talk to the law. One of the reasons why that comes. Yeah,
We're
I
talking
think
two
at some
different kind of
point-
rates here.
Well,
She's talking about customer rates, and you're talking about interest rates.
no, I'm talking about
We're talking
customer.
about, yeah,
I'm sorry,
revenues.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Where's the
Right.
And the,
Yeah.
yeah, to be more specific, the credit rating, the interest rate rating,
our own rating.
and the rates and charges. So we'll be more specific when we talk rates.
But I think it was,
I'm just wondering if you have any crystal ball that's any better than anybody else's, to look down the road a whole other year and look at where our financial markets, you know, how that might influence that next round out.
I think the district's on a good track as they forecast adding customers this year. We're forecasting to add 850 plus customers this year, which would be a 56% increase. It could take you up to 2,500 customers. Puts you in a pretty good position at that point. So I think each year we're a little bit better than we were last year. Even in 17, we're better than we were in 16. We have some experience now. You met your objective for construction last year. You met your target. And so I think that stands well for investors. To get to the point where we can get an investment grade credit rating, we would need to probably be even more sizable. That district would need to be more sizable than that. So we would anticipate that would probably come once you level off at about the 1,400 miles of lines. That credit rating could be assigned. It would be a favorable credit rating.
How about Trump's choice for the Federal Reserve?
That could have an impact, obviously, on interest rates. I think everybody agrees that an increase in interest rates is indicative of a better economy. So if we have a better economy and we are the Fed funds rate is 3%, I think we'd all be somewhat better off than where we are, and the district presumably too, because their customers could more afford to service. So I think that's probably better. If personal income taxes were decreased, it makes the tax-exempt bonds somewhat less appealing, but it's only somewhat, because people who buy tax-exempt bonds generally are in a higher bracket. So they're probably impacted, but only marginally. The appeal for a tax-exempt bond is marginally impacted, probably not material. And we've seen that in the '86 Act when rates were dropped. There was less interest rates on tax-exempt bonds went up proportionally as compared to government, but it wasn't material. The market has never really flowed for municipalities. Even in the last quarter of '08, first 2 quarters of '09 during the severeness of the stock market downturn, municipal bonds continuing to be issued, even that municipalities cut back, but the market was still open. And you wouldn't expect any change in the market. You know what? I have been doing this since 1971, and I've never had feedback. There's always the first time.
we could also have, on the rating question, we could also have some preliminary discussion of the cost with the rating agency. Check and see what are some of the components of the
So first rating, favorable rating.
I think it could be worth more than that, depending on,
Yeah, we'd have to do that.
yeah.
But if it drops a rating.
But
I think it happens.
even with that, then there's the opportunity to refinance.
Yeah, but we have a, definitely a 10-year
Well,
outlaw.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, we're locked in on the trade for a certain amount of time, but then, yeah, in the next decade,
Yeah. Most municipal bonds rarely go to maturity. They almost always get refinanced for sort of like home loans.
So the other thing I think I think is earlier today is that it's better to be unrated than to have some non-technical rate.
Right.
And even under triple B, it's probably not.
Yeah, because the fund managers will review the bond, make their own decisions regarding the non-rated bond. But once they have a rating, let's say double B, then they're locked into that bucket. And so these bonds as non-rated can be purchased at the discretion of the fund manager. So it opens a broader market.
Yeah, I'd like to see you do that. Exploratory effort.
Yeah, there's a thing called an indicative rating, which isn't actually published. If you don't like it, you want to. I still think you have to give it some time before you
Your telecommunication district is a very unusual animal around the United States. It's not to say there aren't others like you, but we haven't found them.
Tried to do
So,
it in Colorado.
I think hitting the rating agencies with a district like you would be it's a new animal for them, so they'd have to, think hard. And frankly, if they don't have a criteria for rating a specific item, they won't rate it. They used to do that, but then they got in trouble.
In the last year, crossing over methodologies.
Notice that there may be cities that have used bonds to finance telecom. There may be cities that have done so successfully. I make that exception to leave out the northwest corner of Vermont. But there isn't another group of rural towns where there isn't already competition from established cable companies. That's how we're different. When a city goes out to build, they're overbuilding an already in place cable plant. They may be bringing in competition and bringing down costs for the customers, but they are up against an entrenched competitor. And we are largely going after unserved territory. And we are an organization composed of several individual municipalities. So we're unusual in those two very big ways. That makes us a really new animal.
But aren't we similar to that town down in Louisiana? It was out in the middle of nowhere in the Delta somewhere, and they couldn't get.
Lafayette?
Pardon?
That party in the middle of nowhere. It's a big kind of commercial center. The Lafayette, Bethany, Tennessee, those are all funded with the tax revenue of some of those things. And I think what is being said here is the way we are financed currently with our bonds is unique to these telecom districts.
Right. The cities that have been successful with a broadband network are those cities that have an electric utility, and they pledge their electric revenues for the thing. And their electric revenues are substantial. And that's good rate. Yeah, but that's, I mean, if you had an electric system, then.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And it's Vermont's law saying that we can't use taxpayer money to build a network that makes us
Yeah.
good.
Right, that is unique. That's fairly similar with that. Many states have that law as it pertains to water use. But, and they may finish the project too. But yeah, you're limited to revenues, and you have to get some revenues to start. So you're bootstrapping the operation over the past 5 years prior to last year was what made it work. And few people are willing to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to preach my own down. There's very few places that have a nonprofit doing several $100,000.
Right.
And then the three original investors, 11% contract now. Back then, it was essentially money. So all that came together and allowed us to do this. Jeremy's up. This is the first kind of news so fast. One of our investors, Charlie, really well. He's willing to have us meet with Bill, talk about what we've done here. This won't help ECFiber, but it'll help the rest of the line. We can start other ECFiber entities in the rest of the state. The question is what that's going to take. And I don't have an idea yet, but I know people come on to do something from somebody, whether it's the state or local business, come up with some money. Because the reason 24 towns voted in 2018 because they didn't have to spend a single cent to get this thing running. If we even asked for $1,000 from it, we really had a lot of people not voting. So that's how we got 90% vote. So, it's kind of a unique combination of circumstances. So hopefully now that we've done it, it won't take anyone else 7 years to get the stop. It's an operating loss should be lower because we know that I know we're focused different ECFiber here, but at least Alan and I started to think more broadly about how to invest in the rest of the state. I don't know if they have a lot of time, but it would be cool to do this.
There's towns all over America. When Google did its,
Well, let's start with the money.
Yeah.
Google did its RFP to ask for particular respondents when they go into the fiber, 15,000 cities.
We've had visitors from England, friends of the Maltese who did, got farmers together, dug their own conduit in and put in fiber. And they had access to a major trunk and cheap internet connectivity, but they did the fiber. And I think one of the things that we saw here was that we had such poor service, really. I mean, there is some service now, but it was really dreadful here when we started this project. There weren't many options to do anything better than dial. And so people got together. I think the people that are hurting the worst, I think community members are really picking up with it. And I think that's what the key to what we're doing.
I think another key is the fact that there's investment
And the expertise.
So we could say, okay, well, here's an example where the funds actually go locally into the network and they like that.
One is, I was just going to add, one additional aspect of the 17 series as compared to last year's is that the executive committee has asked us to carve out some bonds that can be sold to non-accredited investors. And we're as a registered broker-dealer prohibited from doing that, but the district is exempt from those regulations. So the district itself can sell bonds directly to investors who might otherwise be non-accredited. So what we would like to do is try to get an idea of how many non-accredited investors might have an interest, and we would carve out of the 14 million that many bonds, whether that's 500,000 or a million, whatever the number might be, we carve that out. We've also asked for that the management of ValleyNet, that it will be exiting, will be being paid off by the city, would be willing to make this initial investment back into some of the citizen funds. So Investors hate when the insiders are leaving when they're getting in. So we'd like to offset that by what we're calling citizen bonds, and that's what's generally termed as used. Those bonds would be offered by a separate offering document that would be every way like the offering document we'll be using for institutional investors, except that the terms of those bonds would be slightly different. They'd be smaller amount. They would be in denominations of $5,000, but the security would be the same. They would have what is known as the CUSIP number in the trade, which is a registered number, and they would be for every way the same security and on parity with the security for the other bonds, as well as the 16 bonds. They would just simply be offered directly by the district without a commission to MCA to people living within the district or within the state.
How many years?
I think where we were considering is that we might have some bonds due in 5 years, some in 10, and some in 15. Those seem to be the most attractive individuals.
The rate would be the same as the institutional rate.
So, when we were doing our private placement, we couldn't like then have an email and say, hey, just leave it alone. What's the situation with these?
Well, actually, the district could make a public announcement of this and ask people to subscribe to the bond by a public announcement. You can. I think the first initial thing would be to send out perhaps to the old holders a notice that if you're interested, we'd like to know a non-binding level of your interest. And from that, then we make sure that they would get a subscription agreement. That subscription agreement would be where they would agree to subscribe for some number of bonds, say 10,000. And they would get also the official offering document at the same time.
Could invest directly with MCM. If there would be those bonds would be more liquid than there's a bond, you have to find out there's nothing prohibiting people.
Does everybody here know the term accredited investor?
It's an SEC definition.
Okay, I just want to give people an opportunity to ask what it means if you don't know.
Just quickly, it's an individual with a net worth of $10 million, excluding the residence, or an annual income of $250,000. Generally speaking, a lot of it, the muni investors, bond investors are because they're the ones in the higher tax bracket. That's about the summary we have, unless there's other questions.
So let's review the schedule. We don't expect to take any formal vote in February, but by February 21st, we will probably have the fourth quarter results and the results for the full year. They won't be back from the auditors yet, but our own accountants will know what is the financial picture for last year, the full year. And so we'll have updates in February. And then on this schedule, we would take a vote in March to issue bonds.
I would hope too we'd also have at least the first good draft of the offering document for that 21st.
We would hope so too.
So
Right.
to give you a general idea.
Right.
What's going to be. There'll be some blanks because the financial statements.
Yeah. For anyone who's doubtful, remember, we don't now have the money to build the 250 miles we promised to build this year. We do need to borrow money to do that. That was the plan, that we funded last year preparation for this year's build, and in this year we will build for 250, and we would prepare for another probably 350 miles to be built in 2018. Right.
Yeah, I think at the meeting of the 14th, we'd need your approval to go forward at some maximum interest rate. Once we have that, then we'd be prepared to go to the market, hopefully the next day, or by at least the next Monday. Yeah.
You want to catch these things at
Yeah, we're if they don't raise in March, they'll probably raise in April, so it'll be not sure we're going to be ready because we need the audit.
Couldn't hear that, TJ?
Yeah, and I think the market largely expects it, so probably won't have a big one.
Okay.
You know the old saying, they take the stairs down and the elevator up. So sometimes they do that.
More questions? Well,
Okay, thank you very much.
we thank you for coming. We do not need an executive session tonight. We put it on the agenda in case the need might have come up. And you'll probably see something like that on the agenda for each meeting between now and April as a just in case, so that we warn the public we might have an executive session. Let's keep the proper procedure. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Are we ready for everybody's favorite motion?
Don't move.
Awfully early.
Don't ask.
Well, now, so move is not adequate. We need to have the word in the motion.
For adjournment.
There's been a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
So there's nice things to eat on the way home in the car.
Oh, really?
Stop at the counter here.
Can't believe we're leaving early.
Well, it's a good day to pick to go early. Drive safely. Supposed to be getting
like a Vermonter.
supposed to be getting slick out there.
Yeah. At this point, it's supposed to rain. A lot of snow.
See you next month.
Well, we didn't need it after all. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
it's the same group of people forever, and it's hard to get new blood.